Well, hello everyone. Geez, pardon the hasty process of getting into all this show today. It's been really hectic around here. I mean, hectic. It's been hectic. As you can tell, I haven't even had a chance to get everything all together for myself. Ah, phew. So what do I need to do? So anyway, we've had a busy day. Um, Woke up with an alarm going off like crazy. You can probably see it against the wall. Let me kind of raise this up just slightly and kind of move it in another direction. Let's see. But there's an alarm that's right back here. Let me show you what this thing sounds like. Now, this is just a rough room in here where there's a baby bed and makeup place and all that. But anyway, it sounds like this. No, it doesn't sound like that. Phone ringing. Hello, welcome. Light. Anyway, it makes a really bad noise. And if you're not ready for that, it will knock you out of the bed. So anyway, so you get to watch me put on my makeup because I have been absolutely just under the weather in terms of things to do. This terrorist in the mountains right here has got a lot going on. The training camp is just overflowing with things that have to be done. And so I've been trying to work all that stuff out. So let me take all of this off for a second. I'm going to put on some of my base makeup. Oh, I need to get my base makeup. Hold on. One of those. Okay. Here we go, folks. So let's throw on some makeup today. This is a makeup thing that I go through every day. So I go, throw on a bunch of stuff up in there. Put on my face. This is the process of putting on my face from the heels, up in the heels. I can put it all over the place. The camera's backwards and it's kind of confusing me. But I know what I'm doing without it, so I know where I have to go anyway. So anyway, yeah, we've had a good weekend. I did watch a lot of the memorial service yesterday for Charlie Kirk. And it is a sad and trying time that a person was killed because of their political views. And I hope you don't mind me putting on my makeup while you're doing all this because, I just got to do it that way. It's been in a rush all morning long. I had to get my mom off the floor twice. Now, one of them was kind of something I did, I guess. It's like trying to get her to rise up into a chair in a wheelchair, and she slid out from under me. So, yeah. So I'm putting on, what am I putting on right now? Infallible? Yeah, Infallible by L'Oreal. That's a Walmart thing. So just putting on my face. And so we'll do all of this. So this is my rough room. Got the walls painted finally, though. It's actually pretty cool. I like it that it's red and yellow. Mustard and ketchup, as my brother calls it. This is his house. And so I've been back here I volunteered to come back and help them, and they accepted. And I'm glad that they did. It's been a good time. Tough times. I'm about to close my eyes so I can see what I'm doing. What do y'all think about that? You got to close your eyes to see what you're doing. All right, let me take this necklace off for a second, too. So this is my really quick tutorial. I've got on my arm. What is that on? Oh, don't know. Had to pick Mom up just 10 minutes prior to me getting ready for the show. So that's why I'm kind of running right now, trying to get everything all set. Maybe this will help a little bit. I'll put some of that. I put this liquid stuff on. This Infallible Fresh Wear liquid foundation. And then I'll go in and put on some powder over top of it to kind of set it in place. So if you're watching and you're curious about all of this, you might as well watch along with it. Put on my face. So I've got a lot to do this afternoon. I've got to go. I'm hoping you can hear me all right. Can everybody hear me all right? I hope you can anyway. I think it should be just my big blue ball, white ball microphone. That darn thing was expensive. I've had them for several years, and it was expensive several years ago. So let me put on some more of this. Make sure that the right direction's going in the right direction, right? Right. And everybody's looking at me. What the heck are you talking about, Cassandra? All right, that's that part and that part. Now, let me do my little eyeliner thing. Now, can I do this in here? I don't know. I'm going to try it. Shake. It's a little white liner that you kind of... That's hard to do on camera. How the heck do y'all do that? That's the first part. Okay. All right. Okay, now let's do the lashes. Here we go. Putting this stuff on because I got to make some runs to other places today. I know it doesn't help if I stare directly at the camera, but it keeps me from looking at the image, which is actually reversed. It's harder to do. Hope that works out. Anyway, not too bad of a job given that the image is backwards. Can I turn that image around? Let me see. I need to turn it around so I can actually do a reverse image. Video, auto, mirror. I'm going to turn off the mirror. Now, there we go. Phew. That puts it back where I can actually see what's going on. So you watch. This is a little bit of white liner that just goes on my eyes, makes my eyes look a little bit brighter because I am 66. So I kind of look for ways to increase the thing slightly. Okay, we got that and that. We got that. Let me put some eyebrows on now. You ready? So it has been a busy day. I've got a lot going on today. It took a minute. The first thing this morning was like real early in the morning, 6-ish. My alarm went off, which you could see against the wall. That little thing down there, that thing makes a loud, blaring noise. And so, I'll clean that up in just a second. Watch. Maybe. Let's see how this turns out. Ha! Better. Not perfect, but none of us are, right? Shoo-wee, okay. Got that and got that and got that. Got that part of it. Got that on. I can put my glasses on. Excuse me. You got to put the blush on too yet, though. Let's see what we can do with some blush. You ready? Go ahead and get some. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, we'll do this. You wonder what the heck is that for? Oh, yeah, it kind of livens up your cheeks a little bit. Blend it all in like this, Yeah, I know I'm old. You don't have to tell me. And some of those people out there are going, you know something, you're just a man. I said, look, now you're talking about genetics, I take it, right? So as long as you're restricting your conversation to just genetics and that part of biological identity, then sure, I know that. I've got a son. Where do you think he got his XY genes from? He didn't get them. They didn't just materialize out of nothing. He got them from me. And my daughters. My daughters got their one of their exes from me. So, yeah, there you go. Got no problem with that. But if you're thinking that sex and gender are the same, we've got another thing coming. You're one of those Daltonists still stuck in 1803 who thinks the atom is just a billiard ball model of the world, right? Which we know is, we know more now, right? Do y'all know that? We know more now since 1803. We know more. We know that the atom's not really that. We also know that sex and gender are, for most people, the same. But there are those of us, myself included, where sex and gender are not the same. I know that the biological sex, the genetic sex, is XY male, but I know that my gender is definitely not. And you're going, what about that voice? What about your voice? Look, I was acclimated to this voice. I acquired this in a very long line of, command voices. Why can I be funny about all of this? Come on. I have fun with who I am. I go out just exactly as you see all the time. I am. What you see is what you get, and what you hear is what you get as well. You might not always like everything that I have to say, but that's fine too. And I'll defend your right to say those things and to believe those things because, I serve for all Americans and not just some of them, the ones I like. I serve for all of them, regardless of what you think or what you believe. If you're a veteran and you didn't serve for all Americans, well, maybe you ought to take that DD 214 and go turn the thing in. Okay. That's me partially made up. I think I can make it to the road down to the hospital now. I got to run to the hospital in just a little while. I got to go down and got to dig up some old records from my dad, who passed away in 1997 at South Williamson Appalachian Regional Hospital. Got to go down there because the VA needs to know his cause of death. It was kind of illegible and not legible on the death certificate. And that's the only part of the death certificate on my dad that they actually wrote by hand. Everything else on the death certificate is typed. But you get down to the first and second causes for his death. Well, they wrote it by hand. And it's really, really not very legible. So I have to go see if there's any records down there that can help us interpret that. So I can get that to the VA. And then find my sister's stuff too, because I got to have that, all those things to kind of get the care the stuff that moms need, she should have had for the last 28 years, roughly. Okay, people. So here we are. Thank you for watching me put on my face, such as it is. It's better than the other one. Take it or leave it, right? Hallelujah. What you see is what you get, folks. Don't like it? Well, there's a piss pot to pee in somewhere. You can throw your own water away. So yes, today I did publish day number 4 in the Appalachian Trans-Terrorist series. Since we have Seaman Apprentice Ronnie Jackson. Now, I know he's an admiral, but I wish we could just bust him down to Seaman Apprentice, which is an E1. Go all the way down to Seaman Apprentice, give him an E1 status. Way down yonder. Is that an E1 or E2? I don't remember. Seaman's E3. Anyway, so way down yonder, E1. Put him down at E1. Because the stuff he's saying about rounding up trans people and institutionalizing them and taking them away from the way they communicate with each other and with the world, like what I'm doing right here with you. He wants to institutionalize all of us and take us away from our ability to communicate. He said that, and Nancy Mace said those same things or similar things to that, and then both of them encouraged the FBI to add us to their terrorist list. If we're a trans activist, which is what I'm doing here right now, right? This is what I'm doing right now. I'm out here trying to get people to see that we're just real human beings, that we're just real Americans like anybody else. We're just as real as every American in this country. And we've been doing this. We've been who we are for millennium, thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's not new, but you want to think that it is. You want everybody else to believe that too. And that's just drivel, and you know it, but you doesn't fit your narrative. If you're one of those people spreading that kind of stuff, well, guess what? You're wrong, but you have control of the narrative. You have control of Congress. You have control of the White House. And therefore, regardless of what the real things are going on, regardless of the history or the science or anything at all, you can make it what you want. And that's the unfortunate part about being any way connected with this administration. I mean, have they already said that Tylenol is one of the causes for autism? Folks, there's been so many studies on that to prove this, to prove otherwise. What the heck? But go ahead, study it. Go ahead, dig deeper. Force them to prove it to you again and again. Force them to improve their measurement techniques again. That's good. That's great. That's perfectly fine. That's the scientific method right there, right? But to ban them, even when the evidence says otherwise, simply because that is your crazy conspiracy field anti-science crap that you believe, that's wrong. But go ahead and absolutely encourage more science, more study. Could have missed something, or we may know a better way. We may find something else out that we don't know already. Naturally, science is an evolving process. It is not an absolute. We all know that, right? Y'all know that? Am I alone in that kind of assumption about what science actually represents? It is not an absolute. And that's what gets to some people, by the way, is doesn't give absolute answers. There are no absolutes in the world, period, on anything. Nothing is absolute. So, yeah, how did I get onto that topic? Anyway, so yeah, this administration's push for how do you call it? How do you describe what's going on right now? You had President Trump and Vice President Vance, and you had the entire leadership team basically at Charlie Kirk's memorial yesterday, which is fine. We got no problem with that. Have no problem with them doing a memorial that lasted for hours and hours and hours for Charlie Kirk. He did not deserve to be killed. He did not deserve that at all. And the person who did that does need to be taken care of within the process of the law. It needs to be addressed, but it doesn't need to be rushed. It doesn't need to be hurried. It needs to be done correctly according to the law, right? Anybody opposed to that, or you want to get back to some kind of vigilante justice? Is that what everybody's wanting? Because I hear people saying they want to rush this thing and rush him right straight into the death chamber and execute this Robinson person like he executed Charlie Kirk. I can understand that kind of motive. I do. I get it. But there's still a process that needs to be done, and we need to follow the law. But this administration has shown over and over and over again, they don't really care about that. They'll change the rules to fit it in any way they want. We know that too. Right? I mean, don't you know that? Haven't you seen that? I mean, come on, folks. So anyway, day 4 started out with getting my mom off the floor about 6-something in the morning. I don't know how long she had been on that floor. There is that kind of alarm system that's right there. It makes a blaring noise. You should have received an email. If you didn't receive an email from me, you need to sign up. Go over to the website. Go to the menu option up in the upper right-hand corner. Go over there and click at it. It's right here at the bottom. The link for it is on the bottom of that page. www.cassandra-llc.com. Go there and sign up on it. If you're not receiving those things, I try to bring a little consistent thinking, some rational thinking to all of this kind of stuff. Try to bring it in a way that is human, and also trying to show people that we aren't terrorists. We're just Americans wanting to live freely in our own country, in the country that we served, for your right to believe what you want. And for Ronnie Jackson and Mace and all of these people in the Heritage Foundation to come out and suggest and say, in some cases pointedly say, hey, we got to round all these people up and just lock them away because they are such a threat. We've got to take care of this and make sure they get the right kind of therapy if they need that. What they mean by that is they don't want any of the professionals who actually know how to deal with this, who we are, to be the people on the therapy team. They want their people who can use things like, electroshock therapy, lobotomizing people. And they want to go back to the 1950s version of psychology where you lock people away, you shock them with electroshock therapy if they don't comply, if they don't change, if they don't convert back to your way of thinking. Yeah, do you know anybody who they did that to? I don't know them personally, but I can tell you that it has happened. And I'm sure you've heard of Alan Turing. Anyone not know who Alan Turing is? Alan Turing is the person who broke the Enigma code in World War II. Very smart mathematician. And he was able to see things and do things with math and computing that no one could do. Basically, the father of modern computing, modern computing technology. And they found out he was gay in the 50s, and they locked him up and treated him with electroshock therapy because they figured they could convert him back to being a straight guy, which is bullshit. You can't do that. It never works. You're wasting your time, and you're just trying to destroy a person because you don't like who they are. Well, that's on you. Maybe you're the one who needs to be sitting in that chair to be treated with electroshock therapy. That's my opinion. Maybe you're the one who's got the problem. We don't. We know who we are. You obviously think you know more about who we are than we do. And I'm sorry, that's just not the way the world works, folks. You have the power, you have the control, you have the government and all that, and you can certainly enforce it on the rest of us, but we are not going to sit back and just take it. Because I've got things to do around here. I mean, I've got to take care of my mom and my sister and my brother and all this kind of stuff. And whenever they do want something, like I fixed a peanut butter pie not too long ago, but they didn't want that. It was for some other people. They wanted a peanut butter pie. But a peach cobblers, oh my God. And my brother wanted a pineapple upside down cake for his birthday. So guess what? Those are the things that I'm concerned about, rather than having to worry about what you plan on doing with all of these trans people out here that you disagree with. I don't give a hoot about it. Don't care about that. I care about my family right here. I care about my children, their success, my grandchildren, their success and safety. And my daughter expressed to me just yesterday, we were talking, and she'd already heard about all this stuff, that what Ronnie Jackson wants to do, and the FBI and the Heritage Foundation. And she was really concerned about my safety. She said, Dad, you got to calm down all of this stuff. They're going to put a bullseye on you. I said, Jordan, listen to me on this. I understand that that's it, but I am asking them to go ahead and put me on the top of their darn list because, I know I don't belong there. I don't belong there. So let's just make sure we all get on there. Let's overwhelm their system and tell them that, hey, we're all trans terrorists. You need to add us all to the list. Come on. Let's do it. You want to call Pam Bondi's office? I can. Wait a minute. Let me get a number. I will certainly do that. I think I did, but it was about a different thing. I called the FBI's Public Affairs Office looking for information. So here we are, folks. We are in a world that is turned upside down. And then the president, vice president, and his cabinet are all over there piling on and supporting this Christian nationalist, Charlie Kirk. He's entitled to believe that. And he said that he's a Christian nationalist. Everybody knows that he is. He believes the government. And what does that mean? Most of you have no freaking idea what Christian nationalist means. You think it's just another way of Christians expressing themselves and living their lives. No, it's not even Christian. They attach the word Christian to the front of this in order to give it some faith legitimacy. But in reality, it's all about power. It's all about having control of the reins of government. It's very much like Shia theocracy in Iran. It's not really about being a Muslim. It's not really about being a Shia Muslim at all. It's Khomeini's nationalism. And that's what they're trying to do here. Christian nationalism is a misnomer. You don't find that in Christ. I didn't. I mean, have you ever read the Beatitudes? Pointed out to me where he said that you have the power to take over the world and rule it and make it look like me, or at least make it look like your understanding of me, which was wrong because it's been modified and edited so many times from the first council, the second council, the third council. Oh my God, come on. It's been edited and purified to make it sound rational and reasonable and consistent from the very beginning. You might not like those things from me. You might not like hearing that thing. So let me just tell you something. You need to go over to my website and check out a blog. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to pull up a page, okay, to the website. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to share with you a couple of gospels that you probably ought to take time to read. Okay? Let me go over, get to my blog site. And if you haven't read these gospels yet, you should. So I'm going to go over and share a live screen. Are you ready? Come on, whoever's hanging on. I need to see some comments over here first real quick. Connie Lynn, thanks for sharing your makeup routine. Hi, Connie. Seaman Recruit. Okay, E1. Jeez. Seaman Apprentice, E2. Thanks, Junior. I had forgotten the sequence of those things. Seaman Recruit, Seaman Apprentice, and Seaman. Okay. Because they jumped me right straight up to E3 whenever I went in. It didn't take long. We said, you're an E3. I said, well, okay then. And then wasn't long after that, they said, oh, we're going to send you to the academy. You're going to become one of those O1s. From E1, E3, actually I made it up to E5 and then switched over to O1, O2. It was like, wow. But it took a lot to get there. All right, so. Hi, Jamie. Hello. I don't know who's still on the line with us, but anyway, wherever you might be. Where was I headed here? I was headed, share a screen. Let me go share a screen real quick. I want to show you something. You need to go check this out. You're going to find it to be probably irreverent. Yeah, I'm going to say that you probably will. But that's the whole point. Irreverent, funny, but at the same time, we got to push back on this. And you're not going to be able to do it by policy. You're not going to be able to do it by lawsuits. You're not going to be able to take on this administration with marching and protesting and all that kind of stuff in the middle of the street. It's not going to work. It's never worked, really, except for one time that I can tell you that it did work. You know what that one time was? Is when the Veterans March, the bonus march, occurred in the 1930s, when the veterans wanted their pay from their benefits from World War I. They actually succeeded in that. And then obviously Martin Luther King's march and all that had a big impact on things. It did change things. But right now in this current environment with trans people trying to stand up for themselves, hey guys, that hasn't worked and it will not work. So anyway, let me share this screen. This is day 4. This is the first thing. I'm going to try to open this one up in a separate screen. And we'll go down and open up. Now, here are the 2 gospels you ought to be reading. Go over here to this go to my website. Go to the Cassandra, CASSANDRA-LLC.com. Click on the link for the blogs and go down through there and read these 2 gospels. Okay, first thing is day 4, Day of Falls, Phone Calls, and New Gospels. And then you got the Gospel of St. Marcia. Yeah, Marcia P. Johnson. These are quotes from her and from her life. And it's just like, it's 2 pages long. And that's a 4-minute read. Okay, go check that out. And then the Gospel of Harvey. The Gospel of Harvey Milk. This is based on some of his quotes in his life. And so anytime somebody comes around and says, you need to listen to this gospel can save you and send you to heaven and you need to repent and be saved, tell them, look, only if you will read the Gospel of Harvey Milk or the Gospel of Marcia P. Johnson and then ask for forgiveness and maybe you too will be saved. Yes, I'm making fun of all of this stuff because I'm so freaking tired of it. It's there. You can read. I'm not going to click on them, but you go over there and click on it. Let's see if anybody has decided to jump on there in just a second. But anyway, so that's where it is. Okay, let me go over here. And Jamie says, yeah, I understand that I got bumped up myself within 6 months. I was a seaman. Then 3 months later, made my third class pay the same. Oh, it was fast. It was like accelerated rates. Yeah, been there, done that. A lot of fun, though. Sent me right straight to the fleet and the submarines. Well, I wasn't assigned to submarines. Not technically. Not part of the crew. I was actually part of the team that would drop in, say hi. You can't see what we're doing. Bye. That team. We were. They called us spooks. They probably, I don't know what they. But I was one of those spooks. Went on the submarines and went to the chow hall, the mess hall, and ate a little bit. Disappeared into the radio room. A big sign on the door says, "You are no longer cleared to be here. Radio man, go find another job." Yeah, that was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed that. I really did. So let me see. Let me stop sharing. There we are. So let me see. How long are we talking? 30 minutes. You watched me put on makeup for 30 minutes. Connie? Oh my gosh. So basically, that was a real quick thing. There's more that I needed to do, and I don't feel complete. But I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm me. I got to put the rest of my jewelry on though, so I can go check on mom. I got to go run back and check on mom here real quick because I'd pick her up out of the floor before I came onto the show. That's the reason I got in late, to be able to put my makeup and stuff on. I usually have all that stuff ready before, but this time it's been hectic today here on the home front of the America's Transgender Terrorist Network right here in the hills of Eastern Kentucky. The training command is in dire need of staff. So Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, if y'all have any staff just hanging around looking for something to do, send them up here to the hollers. We could use some help. We won't harm them in any way. I mean, come on. This might be Hatfield McCoy feud country, but we do respect our federal people, federal officials, and state officials. Well, unless you were trying to raid our moonshine stills.